everybody, I'm Armaya Fox, and I want to apologize for not making a second part to my Sweet Home review. I focused on just making a review of the movie first, finished that, then I played the game, wrote, filmed, and started editing the game part of the review, when I suddenly realized the second part wasn't all that funny. So I canceled that video. And then I lost access to my old email address, which my old Armaya Fox account was connected to. And the recovery email system Google has in place wants to send a verification email to the email I couldn't access in the first place. Yeah, thanks a lot, Google. You really know how to keep our accounts safe even from ourselves. Also, I'm kind of sick, but I've been meaning to get this video done for a few months now. And my deadline is Christmas. Anyways, I've been doing some reading for Christmas with a collection of classic Christmas stories. Or at least all the ones in the public domain. The first story in this collection is The Nutcracker and the Mouse King by estimated time of arrival Hoffman. Seriously, what else would the ETA in his name stand for? Eat that ass? You know what? Let's go with that. The Nutcracker and the Mouse King by Eat That Ass Hoffman. Anyways, as I was reading that story, I remembered something I saw being reviewed by several people on YouTube a couple of years ago. And I had to ask myself, was that movie real, or was it just something that was just, to quote Ebenezer Scrooge, a undigested bit of beef, a spot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, or a fragment of an undone potato? In other words, for a moment I believed I dreamt that shit up. But no, this movie is real. I have seen it for myself now. I'm of course referring to The Nutcracker in 3D.
Or The Nutcracker the Untold Story, as the opening credits call it.
This movie is apparently quite infamous, having the absolute lowest score on Rotten Tomatoes possible. And yet there are apparently some crazy people in the audience reviews that actually gave it a positive review. I say crazy because the contents of this movie is so horrendously insulting that I have to say if anybody watching this video actually likes this movie, I have a restraining order to place on you. I don't even want to sit down and watch it again for this video, but I have to.
Oh, sorry!
What fancy restaurant makes their waiters ice skate?
Apparently the same restaurant that makes their orchestra riding a trolley.
This is literally the first scene in the movie, and I'm already questioning its world building. And we haven't even gotten to the fantasy world yet.
We then cut to a completely different location, where we see a little boy named Max lighting a tree ornament's dress on fire.
Max, put her out! Please don't tell him he married.
I hate that boy already. Speaking of which, in the book, the boy's name was Fred, and the only things he broke were broken by accident. But the burning of the dress was obviously deliberate.
Such a beautiful city, don't you see?
Huh? You talking to me?
Don't feel pressured to answer. It was a rhetorical question.
It better be. You couldn't hear my answer anyways.
But for now, I have the strangest feelings that we are being followed. I'd better check. We are not being followed. Now I'm a little disappointed.
You know, when I first saw the movie, I thought maybe this guy was the wise, all-knowing narrator character, who would often break the fourth wall to tell the viewer what's going on. But alas, no. He only speaks to the viewer twice in the entire 2-hour movie. So I don't really understand what they were thinking with this guy.
Ew! That is the creepiest looking rat I've ever seen. Mary is upset that her parents are leaving her house on Christmas, while her uncle, who is supposed to be Albert Einstein but he looks more like Alexander Dumas, stays with her and Max. Uncle Albert surprises the children with a dollhouse, with some rather unusual dolls. A chimpanzee in a suit who is riding a tricycle, a juggling clown, and a rather racist caricature of a black man playing the drums.
Although, to be fair, this movie is set in the 1920s. So racist depictions of black people were still common back then. So I'm not sure if it's actually racist or just being accurate to the time period. Maybe it's both. Yeah, let's go with both.
Harry and Max, meet the Nutcracker. I call him NC for short.
NC? I personally don't see the resemblance.
They say he is the most wanted doll in town.
Who by?
I would tell you, but then I would have to kill you.
Yeah, funny thing about that quote, it originated after the time period this movie takes place. No, seriously, it wasn't invented until the first television adaptation of The Hound of the Baskervilles. Or at least that's what the first result on Google search has informed me. Which means the only way Einstein can quote it in the 1920s is if his theory on time travel was correct and he actually built a time machine. And if that's the case, that means way too many legal ramifications to list here.
As much as I love to kick this kid's ass for breaking shit, considering what happens later in the film, he might have been doing the audience a favor if the Nutcracker wasn't repaired.
It's just a stupid toy!
But it's just a toy for you. Maybe a real friend for someone else.
Or even a girlfriend to an adult male who has a crush on a cartoon character. Guilty as charged.
In fact, I have a theory about it. It's called relativity.
Einstein's theory of relativity has nothing to do with toys.
If you're with someone,
Tell me he's not.
unsurpassed, built to last, they will think you're sweet.
Do I even need to comment on this? I mean, it should be perfectly obvious to anyone with half a brain that this is one of the worst musical numbers ever heard on film. Not only that, but the lyrics are not at all accurate to the theory of relativity. So after the song finally ends, this happens.
And dream.
Can you tell us the Nutcracker story?
I see he must have studied at the Batman school sneaking away when other people's backs are turned.
Sorry about my brother. Voices like that.
No problem. I'm used to it.
Oh no, my toy is possessed by Moaning Myrtle!
Oh, careful! I don't want to get broken again.
That face says it all. That would be the look on my face as that hideous thing started talking to me. I've seen enough scary movies to know that's never a good thing.
Also, I don't think the person who designed that thing has ever seen a Nutcracker before in his life. I don't want to say the makers of this movie were aliens in disguise, but they were probably aliens in disguise.
Ah! It can change size!
I'm now getting flashbacks to the worst Godzilla movie ever made. No, I mean the one worse than that. That one.
When I was younger, a boy moved to my town. He was so
Killer.
handsome.
Killer.
I thought he was gonna propose.
She would have dropped dead if she saw me, and we don't want that.
He said sarcastically.
Of course. All dolls are alive.
I'm just gonna put the scene down here for safekeeping, as it'll come in use in this review later. No, don't worry. Your time will come.
They go into the living room, where they find everything has changed size magically.
Do we get smaller, or did the room get bigger?
If you don't mind me saying, that's a naive question.
No, evil Pinocchio. It isn't. It's a perfectly valid one. And what is his explanation?
Have you already forgotten what Uncle Albert said? Everything is relative.
That makes no sense!
You tell him, Twy. That is a bullshit explanation.
Be quiet! Be quiet!
Ooh, I'll have some chocolate.
What the hell was that?
That is the most random 20 seconds I've ever seen in my life. And I watch YouTube poops.
The truth is, Uncle Albert kept this house in his dusty attic for 30 years. All of a sudden, it's his most valuable possession.
Wait. the dolls call Einstein Uncle Albert as well? Does that mean Einstein had a sister who gave birth to living dolls? That's something not in the history books.
Why do they call you Your Highness?
Oh, no real reason. Just something they do.
Why even bother hiding that from the audience when they're gonna find out in the next few minutes anyway? Also, anyone who's either read the original book or seen the ballet already knows, so there's no surprise there at all.
Merry Christmas to you!
Merry Christmas! Mary, you're very pretty.
I thank you.
First of all, we get a small glimpse of music of what we should be watching instead. Second, why did those wooden men jump off the tree? Are they trying to game over themselves? And third, ew, I wouldn't want that thing complimenting me. I wouldn't be able to say a nice thing in return. Oh, so they're doing the whole Wizard of Oz thing, where there are people in the fantasy world who are played by the same actors who play people in the real world. That'd be nice and all, if they had been a bit more consistent with it.
I want to thank your friend Mary here for my wonderful new gown.
The fire did harm my delicate parts, though.
Aren't they beautiful?
Oh, yes.
You can join the dance if you like.
But I can't fly.
How do you know if you've never tried?
Okay, this bitch is actually trying to kill Mary, as well as any gullible child watching this movie.
They're doing this again. Adding lyrics to a song that was never intended to have lyrics never works out.
Your dreams will take flight with you.
And see?
That's right, the Nutcracker was a human prince the whole time. And we didn't even have to kill the Rat King to turn him back like in the source material.
Is the prince all right? I'd recognize him anywhere.
So, he's alive.
And he's dancing with the blonde.
We gotta go tell the king. Let's get out of here.
As for the music, it's terrible.
So those are the rats in this movie. Let me tell you, if they're all just as quirky as those two, they'll be the best things in this movie. I wish you could see the look on my face right now, because my face shows that I know much better than to think that. In fact, we learn right in the next scene exactly what there'll be like by a flashback.
A phallic-shaped building bursts out from the ground in the middle of the city square. And out from it comes... fucking Nazis.
And what exactly did that man think that was going to accomplish?
We then see... DAH!
Let me guess, that's the Rat King?
Shame of trying to harm your king.
Why is the Rat King a rat version of Andy Warhol? Who the hell compares Andy Warhol to Nazis? Also, what is this movie's preoccupation with butchering famous people from the past? First, Albert Einstein is the uncle babysitting kids, and then there's a brief glimpse and mention of Sigmund Freud I forgot to mention earlier, and now Andy Warhol is the Nazi Rat King.
So hard-headed, you humans.
I like that trick better when the Joker did it. Also, they're once again making a pop culture reference to something that didn't exist yet in the period this movie takes place.
Apparently he's so evil that he has a wall full of pictures of children crying.
Mother, you appear to be slipping, old gal. Your spell on the prince is broken.
Ooh! I feel like I need to censor that shot. Not for the YouTube algorithm, but for human decency.
I see the rats have those mechanical dog things from Ratchet and Clank.
What's happening? The spell's back on. How did they find out?
Oh, thank heavens. It was only a nightmare. I guess that means the movie's over, right? Huh? What do you mean the movie's only halfway through? You mean that isn't the end? Oh no.
That's right. Dreams are real according to this movie.
The king of the rats is afraid of the prince, and the rats! And the tree was chewed down by his rat dogs.
How did she know about the rat dogs? I don't think she can even see them from way up there.
You know, I have the strangest feeling that something is wrong at Mary's house. I'd better check.
Remember me saying this guy breaks the fourth wall only twice in this movie? That was the other time he does it.
I'm not going to sit around here waiting for the Rat King to come and find me.
We can go and find the snow fairy, get the spell taken off.
What, for another 25 minutes? No, thanks.
In that case, I'm coming with you. What's
Only
going on?
Max, you're a soldier. What rank are you?
Captain?
Captain Max, do you want to join the fight against the Rat Kingdom?
Yes!
Max is certainly taking this awfully well. I know that kids are more accepting than adults, but if it were me at that age, and I saw that thing talking to me, I'd be running down the hall screaming for my mommy. If you thought that jump scare was scary, you've seen nothing yet.
And you've reached
Jesus Christ on a pogo stick!
Ah!
What the actual fuck? Keep in mind, this is a children's movie.
Wow! Can you do that again, please?
Please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't.
We even have a special rat bike for you to ride.
A rat bike with a motor? Max, come back! I'll be right back, Mary. Promise.
Come, take my hand.
Max, don't even think about it!
You are so grounded, mister.
You know, movie, you can put as many fairy tale references as you'd like in here. I'm still not showing you to my kids. If I ever have any. I've got to say, this Planet of the Apes reboot is a lot weirder than I was expecting.
The sun is blocked out by smoke from burning toys. You do know the rats burn toys.
This is where that scene from earlier is gonna come into play.
Of course. All dolls are alive.
That's right, the Rat King is burning other living creatures in an act of genocide, just like Hitler and the Jews. That's it. Come here, movie. No. Bad movie. Bad movie. The bad movie.
Yeah, 2 broken legs later.
Bet you didn't know rats could do a 100-meter jump, did you? Neither did I.
I really should be in the Olympics.
There he is! There he is! The rat race is to its recruit! Yeah! Tear apart as many of these beauties as you like!
I don't want to. No one should break another kid's toys.
Well, that kid's personality suddenly took a complete 180. I mean, seriously, that change of heart came completely out of nowhere.
You know, if I had a nickel for every time a kids movie, released in 2010, had a scene where living toys are on a conveyor belt leading them to a fiery inferno, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I can't wake him. Please help me.
The last time their power overwhelmed me.
This time.
It has to be you.
How?
Well, some help you are.
alive.
Of course, the whole tears bring loved ones back from the dead cliche. What a thing to bring children up to believe. Did Simba not love Mufasa enough not to bring him back? Did Littlefoot not love his mother enough?
You forgot to reattach my leg first! I'm gonna bleed to death now! Well, I cannot say that this movie doesn't have a good budget, but seriously, how did this script get $90 million to be made into a real film?
Go up! Hide!
But what about you?
I've got a plan!
Well, your plan gets her immediately captured. No, really, that's actually what happens. Nice going, NC.
I'm not afraid of you.
You know, movie, I would have forgiven most of your sins so far if you had just had the Rat King say, "Here's Johnny," at that moment. You've included a lot of other pop culture references so far, so why not that one? In fact, I'm gonna add it myself.
Here's Johnny! So the Rat King and Queen take Mary and Max into a flying machine that looks a lot like Opa Opa, which the prince and Cornelius end up stowing away on, and they end up crashing it.
Well, since the back door was open and they weren't wearing seatbelts, both our heroes and villains died tragically, and the movie ends with a funeral. Okay, you know where this is really going. There to live.
My bananas.
We then get the reveal that the rats were rats. Wow, what a twist! I mean, I never would have expected that the rats were rats, who then proceed to escape through the sewers because they are rats. Rats! So Mary wakes up from her dream, where Uncle Albert introduces Mary to his new neighbor, who is a real-world version of NC. And so Mary and NC live happily ever after, and never have to deal with anything like the Rat Kingdom ever again. Wait, when is this movie set again?
And that was the Nutcracker 2010. And boy, was it just as bad as the internet critics said it was. What the hell was anyone involved in this movie thinking to think this was a good idea? I mean, seriously, how did the pitch for this movie go, do you think? Hello, do you know what gets me into the Christmas spirit? I don't know what. The Third Reich. I no longer wish to do business with you. That's exactly how the pitch should have gone, and yet it didn't. So we now have a Christmas movie that so badly misses the mark of what Christmas is about that I think I'd rather be watching Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. This movie is so bad and offensive, it may as well be Hitler himself. Shit, I just wrote Godwin's Law. I guess this movie's good now.
Whoa! Here goes!